Amid the fierce winds and frozen shores of Greenland, where survival is a daily battle against nature itself, there lived a woman destined to carve her name into the world's memory through steel and sheer will. This is the saga of Freydís Eiríksdóttir, whose tale weaves through the threads of bravery, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of a fabled land called Vinland. Born in the rugged settlements of Greenland, Freydís grew up under the shadow of her father, Eric the Red, notorious for his banishment from both Norway and Iceland due to feuds and killings. In this harsh patriarchal environment, she learned to handle a blade and sail icy waters, often listening to stories of new lands beyond the horizon told by the fire's glow. Unlike her famous brother Leif, who was well documented for his explorations, Freydís' early life is shrouded in mystery, leading scholars to piece together her persona from rare mentions in Norse sagas. If you were born into a family of notorious explorers, would you follow in their footsteps or carve a different path? Why? The Tales of Vinland, a land rich with wild grapes and towering trees, captured Freydís' imagination. Fueled by stories from her brother Leif's voyages, she assembled a crew of Greenland's bravest souls. Their journey was perilous, navigating through storms and unpredictable currents, driven by Freydís' unyielding determination to claim and cultivate this new world. Vinland was described in Norse sagas as a land abundant with resources, which made it an attractive destination for Vikings suffering from Greenland's harsh climate and limited arable land. Imagine setting sail across an unknown ocean with only the stars to guide you. What thoughts and emotions would you feel? The Norse settlers were not alone in Vinland. The land was home to indigenous peoples, known as the Skrælings in Norse sagas. Freydís, with her sharp tongue and sharper wits, initially sought to trade with them. However, misunderstandings and skirmishes soon erupted, showing the darker side of the clash of cultures. The initial encounters between the Vikings and the indigenous peoples involved trading items such as furs and weapons. However, cultural misinterpretations and competing interests quickly soured relations. Have you ever experienced a misunderstanding that led to unexpected conflict? How was it resolved? In the raw, untamed wilds of Vinland, a dire confrontation unfolds. The Norse settlers, led by Freydís Eiríksdóttir, face a brutal attack from the Skrælings. The indigenous warriors, skilled and determined, overwhelm the Norse, pushing them to the brink of retreat. Amidst the chaos, Freydís stands alone, a pregnant woman abandoned by her faltering comrades. Refusing to succumb to fear, Freydís confronts her retreating fellows, her voice thundering above the clash of weapons, chastising them for their cowardice. In a pivotal moment that would define her legend, she acts with a courage that borders on the supernatural. Seizing a sword from a fallen Norseman, Freydís commits to an act of defiance so fierce and unexpected that it halts the advancing Skrælings in their tracks. With dramatic flair, she exposes her chest, strikes her breasts with the sword, and unleashes a fierce battle cry that echoes through the battlefield. This display of intimidating bravery transforms her figure in the eyes of her enemies. They see not just a woman, but a figure of myth, perhaps a Valkyrie descended from the heavens. Her audaciousness confounds the Skrælings, instilling a mix of fear and awe. Believing they might be facing a supernatural entity, their resolve wavers. Freydís' actions shift the momentum of the skirmish. The Norse, inspired by her bravery and shaken from their fear, rally back to her side. Together they regain their footing and push back against their attackers. This moment, vividly captured in the saga of the Greenlanders, serves as a prime example of how historical events are often intertwined with legendary embellishments, elevating Freydís from a mere mortal to a figure of epic stature. Her act of bravery, whether embellished by saga authors or not, remains a powerful testament to her leadership and ferocity, a symbol of how legends are forged in the heat of battle. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to stand alone against adversity? What drove your actions, and how did you find the courage? As the Norse settlers solidified their presence in Vinland, the harsh realities of this new world began to surface. Freydís, while celebrated for her bravery, also faced the daunting task of managing scarce resources and competing ambitions within her group. Winter approached, and with it came biting cold and dwindling supplies, stoking tensions and igniting conflicts among the settlers. The stress of survival in an unfamiliar land tested the Norse settlers' unity. Disputes arose over land claims, distribution of food, and the leadership's decisions, particularly those made by Freydís, whose authority was both revered and resented. Her forceful personality and uncompromising will, which had once rallied her people through fear and admiration, now began to foster divisions. Freydís' response to these internal conflicts revealed a ruthless streak in her character. The saga of the Greenlanders recounts a chilling episode where she manipulates her husband and other men into agreeing to a tragic pact. Feeling threatened by another faction within the colony that challenged her authority, she orchestrated a night of extreme actions. Under the cover of darkness, Freydís and her loyalists carried out a harsh elimination of the rival group, sparing no one. Her actions were cold and calculated, driven by a desire to remove any threat to her control. Notably, when the men hesitated to harm the women of the rival faction, Freydís herself took decisive action, showing a level of harshness that shocked even her own followers. The events of that night solidified Freydís' control, but at a significant moral cost. It left a dark stain on her legacy, painting her as a figure capable of both great bravery and great harshness. This duality raises questions about the nature of leadership and the ethical boundaries leaders are willing to cross in times of crisis. The saga's portrayal of Freydís offers a complex picture of a historical figure who navigated extreme circumstances with both valor and severity. How do we reconcile her heroic acts with her capacity for harshness? Can her actions be justified as necessary for survival, or do they reflect a deeper moral failing? Think about a time when you faced a moral dilemma. How did you decide what was right? And how did you feel about your decision afterward? Next time, we journey into the mythic world of the Valkyries, those enigmatic warrior maidens who decide the fates of men on the battlefield. Were they merely choosers of the slain, or did their role go beyond life and death? Prepare to unravel the mystery and lore surrounding these legendary figures. Until then, keep exploring the legends of old, where history and myth intertwine.